They ignored you, dismissed you, treated you like you were invisible, like your presence meant nothing, and it burned, didn't it? That feeling, it's primal, it cuts deeper than any insult because it says you don't even register as a threat. You're not worth their attention. You're beneath notice. But here's what they don't understand, what they'll never see coming. Being ignored is not your weakness, it's your weapon. And today, I'm going to show you how to turn that dismissal into their biggest regret. This isn't about revenge fantasies or childish games of trying to get back at people who hurt your ego. This is about cold, calculated transformation. This is about becoming the version of yourself they can't ignore, the version that haunts their thoughts when they're alone at night, the version that makes them question why they ever overlooked you. Most people react to being ignored with desperation. They chase harder, they beg for validation. They make themselves smaller, hoping to finally be seen. You're going to do the opposite. You're going to become untouchable. Welcome to Machiavellian mind. Let's begin. Number 2, the principle, absence as power. Machiavelli understood something most people never grasp. Power is perception. When someone ignores you, they've shown their hand. They've revealed they see you as beneath them, as irrelevant. Good. Let them believe that, because while they're comfortable in their arrogance, you're going to disappear. Not in defeat, in strategy. You're going to withdraw completely. No explanations, no confrontations, no dramatic exits, just silence. Pure, absolute silence. Here's the psychology. Humans fear what they can't control, and your sudden absence, that creates a void, a gap in their reality where you used to exist. At first, they won't notice. They'll continue their lives, convinced of their superiority. But then something shifts. The human mind is wired to detect patterns and disruptions. Your absence becomes a disruption. They'll start to wonder, where did you go? Why did you stop reaching out? Why aren't you reacting anymore? This is where dark psychology takes hold. See, when you were present and available, you were predictable, you were controllable. They could dismiss you whenever they wanted because they knew you'd always be there. But now you've become unpredictable. And unpredictability breeds curiosity. Curiosity breeds obsession. The same people who ignored you will now find themselves thinking about you, not because you're chasing them, but because you stopped. This is the paradox of desire. We want what moves away from us. We chase what retreats. By removing yourself completely, you've flipped the entire dynamic. You're no longer the one seeking validation. You've become the mystery they need to solve. But here's the crucial part. This withdrawal must be genuine. If you disappear while still secretly checking their social media, still asking mutual friends about them, still hoping they'll notice, you've already lost. True power comes from true detachment. You must genuinely stop caring about their perception of you. Only then does your absence carry weight. Only then does it become a force that haunts them. Comment below right now. I am the absence they'll remember. Let that sink into your consciousness. Number 3, the transformation, becoming unrecognizable. While they're starting to notice your absence, you're not sitting idle. You're not waiting for them to come crawling back. No, you're undergoing a complete transformation. This is where Stoicism meets Machiavellian strategy. You're rebuilding yourself from the ground up, not for them, but for you. But here's the twist. The byproduct of your evolution will be their torment. Start with your body. Hit the gym with religious discipline. Not 3 times a week, 6 times. Your physique becomes a statement of self-mastery. Every rep is a rejection of your former self. Every drop of sweat is proof you've moved beyond their judgment. Then your mind. Read obsessively. Learn skills they don't have. Develop expertise in areas they can't touch. Become dangerous with knowledge. Expand your social circle deliberately. Surround yourself with higher caliber people. Post selectively. Let glimpses of your new life leak into the world, but never directly to them. Never tag them. Never seek their attention. The content you share should radiate success, growth, abundance. New experiences, new people, new victories. But here's the Machiavellian precision. You're not doing this to make them jealous. You're doing this because you've genuinely transcended the version of yourself they ignored. The jealousy is just collateral damage. This is critical. Your transformation must be authentic. People can smell desperation and fakery from miles away. If you're only improving yourself to prove something to them, you're still in their prison. True power comes when you improve because you've realized you deserved better all along. They didn't ignore the real you. They ignored a weaker version, a version that needed their validation to feel whole. That version is dead now. You've killed it through discipline and relentless self-improvement. And when they finally see what you've become, when mutual friends mention your name with a different tone, when they accidentally see your progress, the regret begins. But by then, you're already 10 steps ahead, operating in a reality they can't access. You've become unrecognizable, unreachable, untouchable. Number 4. The psychology making them question everything. Now we enter the darkest phase of this strategy, the phase where their minds begin to work against them. See, human psychology has a fatal flaw. We assign value based on scarcity and loss. When you were available, you were abundant. When you're gone, you become scarce. And scarcity creates obsession. But it goes deeper than that. There's a principle in psychology called the Zeigarnik effect. The human mind obsesses over incomplete tasks, over unfinished business. Your sudden disappearance without explanation, that's the ultimate incomplete task. Their brain literally can't let it go. They'll replay every interaction, every conversation, every moment they dismissed you. And here's where the regret compounds. They'll start to rewrite history. They'll remember the things you brought to their life that they took for granted. The attention you gave them, the value you provided, the way you made them feel. All of it becomes magnified in your absence. This is the cruelty of human nature. We don't appreciate what we have until it's gone. But you're not done yet. This is where controlled visibility becomes your weapon. You don't completely vanish from existence. You strategically appear in spaces where they might see you, but you never acknowledge them directly. You show up looking better, speaking with more confidence, surrounded by higher value people. And when you do interact, if you must, you're polite but distant, cold even. Not rude, never rude. Rudeness shows you still care. No, you're simply indifferent. You treat them the way you'd treat a stranger at a coffee shop. Cordial, brief, forgettable. This indifference is psychological warfare. It tells them they've lost their power over you, that they no longer occupy space in your emotional world. And nothing, absolutely nothing, drives people crazier than realizing they're irrelevant to someone they once dominated. Here's where Machiavellian strategy intersects with dark psychology. You're not trying to hurt them. You're simply living your truth. But your truth, your transformation, your indifference, your new life becomes a mirror that reflects their mistake back at them. Every time they see you thriving without them, it's a reminder of what they could have had access to if they'd valued you differently. The beauty of this approach is its elegance. You're not actively seeking revenge. You're not plotting their downfall. You're simply becoming so valuable, so self-contained, so powerful that their previous treatment of you becomes an obvious error in judgment. And that realization, that eats at them slowly, relentlessly, permanently. Comment below. My indifference is my power. Say it, mean it, become it. Number 5. The leverage. Strategic re-engagement. Eventually, they'll reach out. They always do. It might take weeks, it might take months, but the psychology is inevitable. They'll break first. They'll send a casual text, a random comment on your post, an indirect message through a mutual friend. Hey, how have you been? Long time no talk. We should catch up. And this is where most people fail. This is where they throw away all their progress because they're so desperate for validation that they jump at the first crumb of attention. Don't be that person. When they reach out, you have leverage, real, tangible leverage. But leverage is only valuable if you know how to use it. Here's the Machiavellian move. You respond, but on your terms. Not immediately, never immediately. Let hours pass. Let days pass, if necessary. Time communicates value. When you finally reply, you're friendly but brief. You're not cold enough to seem wounded. That shows they still affect you. But you're not warm enough to seem available. You're busy. You're occupied with things that matter more than rekindling whatever dynamic you had before. You've got meetings, projects, new people in your life. You might grab coffee if your schedule allows, but you're not rearranging your world to accommodate them. This is critical. You're not playing hard to get. You genuinely are hard to get now. There's a difference. Playing hard to get is manipulation from a place of weakness. Being hard to get is reality from a place of strength. Your life has genuinely evolved beyond them. You're not creating artificial scarcity. You're naturally scarce because you've filled your life with higher priorities. And if you do meet them, they'll see it immediately. The way you carry yourself, the way you speak, the way you don't seek their approval in your stories or need their validation for your choices. You've changed, fundamentally, and it unsettles them. Here's what's happening in their mind: cognitive dissonance. The person they ignored doesn't match the person sitting in front of them now. They dismissed someone they thought was beneath them, but now you're clearly operating above them. This creates psychological tension they can't resolve. They'll try to re-establish the old dynamic. They'll make jokes that used to make you seek their approval. They'll reference shared history to pull you back into old patterns. Don't take the bait. You're not that person anymore. You don't laugh at jokes that diminish you. You don't reminisce about times when you were smaller. You acknowledge the past politely and redirect to your present. This is where they truly begin to regret. Not because you're punishing them, you're not, but because they're experiencing firsthand what they lost. They're sitting across from the upgraded version of someone they had access to and threw away, and there's nothing they can do to turn back time. The window closed, you've moved on, and that reality becomes their burden to carry, not yours. Comment now: I've outgrown who I used to be. Number 6, the mindset. Cold calculation over emotional reaction. Let's pause here and address something crucial. Throughout this entire process, you cannot, absolutely cannot, operate from a place of emotion. The moment you make this about revenge, about showing them what they lost, about proving your worth to people who didn't value you, you've already failed. This is where masculine stoicism becomes non-negotiable. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control how others perceive us, only how we respond to that perception. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." The person who ignored you, that's an outside event. Their dismissal, their judgment, their regret, all outside events. Your response is the only thing you control, and your response must be ice-cold calculation, not heated emotion. Here's the shift in perspective that changes everything. You're not doing this to make them regret ignoring you. You're doing this because you finally realized you were wasting energy on people who didn't deserve access to you. The regret they feel is not your goal. It's simply a natural consequence of your evolution. This distinction is everything. When your motivation is external, making them sorry, proving them wrong, showing them up, you're still giving them power over you. You're still dancing to their tune, just in a different way. But when your motivation is internal, becoming the best version of yourself, creating a life of genuine value, surrounding yourself with people who recognize your worth, then their regret becomes irrelevant. It's just background noise to your symphony. Machiavelli understood this deeply. In The Prince, he wrote about the importance of appearing one way while being another. But the deeper lesson is about outcome over emotion. The effective prince doesn't act out of anger or hurt. He acts based on what produces results. Your hurt feelings about being ignored, valid but tactically useless. Your strategic decision to withdraw, transform, and elevate. That produces results. So you must cultivate emotional detachment. When you see them struggling to process your transformation, you don't gloat. You don't feel vindicated. You simply observe, the way a scientist observes a predictable chemical reaction. Ah, yes, the psychology is working as expected. When they reach out, you don't feel a rush of validation. You assess, is this person worth my time now? Do they add value to my current trajectory? Or are they trying to pull me back into an old pattern? Cold, calculated, unemotional. This is also where you must be brutally honest with yourself. If you're constantly checking if they've noticed your changes, you're still emotionally invested. If you're posting on social media hoping they'll see it, you're still seeking their validation. If you're asking mutual friends about them, you're still caught in their gravity. True power comes when you genuinely stop caring, not pretending to stop caring, actually stopping. And here's the paradox. The moment you truly stop caring about whether they regret ignoring you is the exact moment your transformation becomes most powerful. Because now it's authentic, now it's real. Now you're not performing for an audience, you're living for yourself. And that authenticity radiates. People can sense it. They can feel when someone has genuinely moved beyond them versus when someone is just putting on a show. The person who ignored you will sense it too. And that's when the deepest regret sets in. When they realize you're not playing games. You've actually left them behind. Not in anger, not in bitterness, but in genuine forward motion toward a better life. Comment below. Emotion is weakness. Strategy is strength. Lock that into your mind. Number 7. The execution. Living as proof. Now we arrive at the most important phase. Execution. Everything I've told you means nothing without relentless execution. This is where most people fail. They understand the strategy intellectually, but crumble when it's time to implement it daily. They have one bad day and go crawling back. They see the person who ignored them with someone else and lose their composure. They get lonely and mistake that loneliness for a sign they should reconnect. No, execution means you follow through regardless of how you feel. Feelings are temporary. Your transformation is permanent. Here's what daily execution looks like. You wake up at 5 a.m., not because it's trendy, but because it gives you 3 hours before the world wakes up to work on yourself. You train your body even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it, because discipline is built in the moments you want to quit. You read for an hour minimum. You're consuming knowledge in business, psychology, philosophy, strategy. You're sharpening your mind the way a warrior sharpens his blade. You're building something, a business, a skill, a reputation, something tangible that compounds over time. Every single day, you're adding value to your life that has nothing to do with the person who dismissed you. This is critical. Your new life cannot be a reaction to their rejection. It must be a genuine construction of who you're becoming. You're selective about who gets your time now. You've learned that attention is your most valuable resource, and you don't distribute it carelessly anymore. People who add nothing, people who drain you, people who don't reciprocate your energy, they get politely phased out. Not with drama, just with distance. You're also strategic about your visibility. You're not posting every workout, every win, every moment. That reeks of insecurity. Instead, you're selective. You share wins that demonstrate progress, but you keep the majority of your growth private. Mystery is more powerful than exposure. The person who ignored you might see glimpses, enough to know you've changed, but never enough to fully understand your world. They're on the outside now, trying to piece together who you've become from fragments. And it drives them insane. But here's what's happening beneath the surface that they can't see. You're becoming genuinely content. You're finding fulfillment in your own progress. You're discovering that validation from yourself is more satisfying than validation from people who didn't value you. You're building a life where their presence or absence is completely irrelevant to your happiness. This is the ultimate form of power, self-sufficiency, not needing anyone's approval, not requiring external validation to feel complete. You've become an island, self-contained, self-sustaining, unshakable. And when you reach this state, something interesting happens. Higher quality people start gravitating toward you naturally. Because you're no longer desperate for connection, you've become magnetic. You're not chasing, you're attracting. The energy you once wasted on people who didn't appreciate you now flows toward people who recognize your value immediately. You'll notice the difference. These new people invest in you the way you invest in them. They show up, they reciprocate, they add value instead of draining it. And suddenly, the person who ignored you becomes a distant memory, a footnote in your origin story. Yeah, there was this person once who dismissed me. It was the catalyst I needed to become who I am now. No bitterness, no anger, just acknowledgement of a useful chapter that's closed. But they don't get that closure. They're stuck wondering what happened. How did the person they overlooked become someone they can't reach? How did someone they considered beneath them rise so far above? These questions haunt them because they have no answers. And you're not giving them any. You're too busy executing, too busy building, too busy living a life they no longer have access to. That's the beauty of this strategy. Your execution doesn't just make them regret ignoring you, it makes their regret completely irrelevant to your life. You've moved so far forward that looking back doesn't even cross your mind anymore. Comment right now, execution is my religion. Make it your mantra. Number 8, the revelation, when they finally understand. There will come a moment, and it always comes, when they finally understand the magnitude of their mistake. This moment doesn't arrive when you tell them. It doesn't come from your words or your explanations. It arrives when they witness your life from a distance and the reality hits them like a freight train. You don't need them anymore. You never think about them. They've become irrelevant. This realization often happens in mundane moments. Maybe they see you at a social gathering, surrounded by people who clearly respect you and you barely acknowledge their presence. Maybe they hear through mutual friends about your successes, your new relationships, your completely transformed life. Maybe they scroll past your social media and see a version of you they don't recognize, confident, powerful, thriving. And in that moment, something breaks inside them. It's not dramatic. There's no confrontation. It's just a quiet, devastating understanding. They had access to you and they wasted it. Here's the dark psychology at work. Humans are loss-averse. We feel the pain of loss more intensely than the pleasure of gain. When they ignored you, they didn't feel like they were losing anything because they never valued what they had. But now, seeing what you've become, they're experiencing delayed loss. And it's crushing. They start to reconstruct the past. Was I too harsh? Did I miss something? They'll remember conversations differently. Moments they dismissed now seem significant. They'll wonder what their life would look like if they'd treated you with the respect you deserved. And here's the cruelty of time. They can't go back. They can't undo their dismissal. They can apologize, sure. They can reach out and say all the right things, but you're not the same person anymore. The version of you that wanted their approval, that needed their validation, that would have been grateful for their attention, that person is dead. You killed him through transformation. The person standing here now? He doesn't need what they're offering. He's already built everything they wish they could have been part of. This is where some of them will try manipulation. They'll attempt to make you feel guilty. You've changed. You're not the person I knew. Good. That's the point. They'll try to minimize your growth. You're just going through a phase. Let them believe that while you continue building your empire. They'll try to reclaim familiarity. Remember when we used to? No, you don't live in the past anymore. You live in the present you created and the future you're building. Some will even try to sabotage you, spreading rumors, talking negatively, trying to pull you back down to the level where they're comfortable. This is actually confirmation you're doing it right. People only try to diminish what threatens them. Your growth threatens their ego. Your transformation makes them confront their own stagnation. Your success highlights their failure to recognize value when it was in front of them. But here's what they don't understand, what they'll never understand. You're not doing any of this for their reaction, their regret, their realization, their desperate attempts to reconnect. It's all just noise, background static to the symphony of the life you're orchestrating. You've transcended the need for their acknowledgement, and that's what makes this strategy so devastatingly effective. It's not built on their response, it's built on your transformation. Whether they regret it or not becomes irrelevant because you've built a life where their opinion holds no weight. The revelation they experience isn't for your benefit. You don't need it. You don't wait for it. You don't even think about it. But it happens anyway, inevitably, as a natural consequence of your elevation. And when it does, you won't feel victorious. You won't feel vindicated. You'll feel nothing. Because people who don't add value to your life don't deserve emotional real estate in your mind. They're spectators now, watching from the outside as you live a life they'll never access again. That indifference, that genuine lack of concern for their realization, that's the ultimate power move. Not because you're trying to hurt them, but because you've genuinely moved beyond the version of yourself that cared what they thought. Comment now. Their regret is not my concern. Internalize this truth. Number 9. The mastery. Maintaining your position. You've transformed, you've executed, they've realized their mistake. Now comes the final test, maintaining your position without regressing. This is where discipline becomes lifestyle, where strategy becomes identity. Many people reach this peak and then make a fatal error. They get comfortable. They think the work is done. They believe they've proven their point and can now relax. Wrong. The moment you stop evolving is the moment you start declining. There is no plateau in life. You're either ascending or descending. Stagnation is just slow descent disguised as stability. Machiavelli warned about this. Men rise from one ambition to another. First, they seek to secure themselves against attack, and then they attack others. Your first ambition was transformation. Your second must be consolidation and expansion. You cannot rest on the progress you've made. Here's what maintaining mastery looks like. You continue the habits that built you even after you no longer need to prove anything. The 5 a.m. wake-ups, the training, the reading, the skill development. These aren't temporary tactics. They're permanent lifestyle choices. You remain selective with your energy and attention. Just because you've elevated doesn't mean you open the floodgates to everyone. Standards must increase, not decrease. You're more protective of your peace now than ever before. You keep building new projects, new income streams, new relationships, new experiences. You're not defending territory, you're expanding it. This is the difference between someone who transformed out of spite versus someone who transformed out of self-respect. The first stops once they've gotten revenge. The second never stops because growth is now their identity. You also maintain emotional discipline. There will be moments of temptation. The person who ignored you might make a genuine, compelling case for why you should let them back in. They might offer everything you once wanted from them: attention, respect, validation, affection. And this is the ultimate test of your transformation. Can you turn down what you once desperately wanted because you've outgrown the need for it? Most people fail here. They've worked so hard to get to this point that when the person finally offers them what they wanted, they can't resist. They let them back in, and within weeks, sometimes days, they're right back in the old dynamic. All that progress, wasted. Don't be that person. Remember why you started this journey, not to get them back, not to make them want you, but to become someone who doesn't need them to feel whole. If you let them back in now, you prove that all your transformation was just an elaborate performance to win their approval. You validate their original assessment that you were beneath them. You just needed to work harder to earn their attention. No. You've built something real, something solid, something that exists independent of their recognition. Maintain it, protect it, guard it fiercely. This doesn't mean you become cold and closed off to everyone. It means you have standards, real ones. People who want access to your life must demonstrate consistent value, genuine respect, and authentic investment, not just words. Not just renewed interest because you've become attractive, but sustained, proven character. The person who ignored you when you were building, they failed that test already. They showed you who they are when it didn't benefit them to value you. Maya Angelou said it perfectly. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. They showed you, you believed them, you moved on. And now you maintain the position you've earned through discipline, sacrifice, and relentless self-improvement. This isn't cruelty, this is self-respect. This is boundaries. This is the natural consequence of their choices meeting your growth. You've become untouchable not through arrogance, but through standards. Number 10. The conclusion, your new reality. So where does this leave you, standing in a reality you built with your own hands? A life where the people who once dismissed you are now irrelevant. A version of yourself that is genuinely untouchable, not because you're hiding behind walls, but because you've built a foundation so strong that external validation can't shake it. This is your new normal. You wake up every day knowing your worth isn't determined by who recognizes it. Your value isn't up for debate. You've proven it to the only person who matters, yourself. The people who ignored you? They're footnotes now, distant memories. Sometimes you forget they exist until someone mentions their name and you feel nothing. Not anger, not satisfaction, just indifference. Pure, genuine indifference. And that indifference is your victory. Not because you set out to defeat them, but because you set out to build yourself, and in doing so, you naturally rose above their ability to affect you. This is the Machiavellian mastery. You didn't destroy your enemies. You made them irrelevant by elevating yourself beyond their reach. You've learned the most valuable lesson. The best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's building a life so complete, so fulfilling, so powerful that the people who wronged you become background noise you don't even hear anymore. But this isn't the end. This is your beginning. You've laid the foundation. Now you build the empire. Every day forward is another brick, another achievement, another level of mastery. You keep evolving because evolution is who you are now, not what you do, who you are. The person who ignored you gave you a gift, though they didn't mean to. They showed you that seeking validation from people who don't value you is a waste of your finite time on this earth. They taught you that your energy is precious and should only go to people and pursuits worthy of it. They forced you to look inward and build something real. So in a twisted way, thank them silently. Not because they deserve gratitude, but because their dismissal became the catalyst for your transformation. Then forget them completely and keep building. Stay cold, stay calculated, stay disciplined, stay untouchable. This is Machiavellian mind. If this resonated with you, if you're ready to become the version of yourself that no one can ignore, do 3 things right now. Smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the strategies that will keep you ahead. Comment one final time, I am untouchable. Now go prove it.